To say thank you to Alexander Skrelatos and Spencer Stone, without whom I think we probably wouldn't be here to speak to you today. What I'll do is I'll explain very briefly my role and what I saw happen. I was sitting in the coach. I heard a shot. I heard some glass breaking. And then I saw somebody running down the aisle to the front of the train. I was facing towards the back. I then stood up to see what was happening. I saw a man with what I think was an AK-47. Anyway, it was some kind of a machine gun or a submachine gun. So my first reaction was to sit down and hide. Then I heard one guy, the American, say, "Go get him," and I heard another American say, "Don't you do that, buddy," or something like that. I think that was it. So then I decided that perhaps it was really the only time or only chance was to act as a team and try to take over the terrorist. Well, I suppose he's a terrorist. And so what I then did is I jumped up, and I was actually the fourth person to begin working on the terrorist. The other person who was there before me was Anthony Sadler, who is the student. I'll clarify that Alexander Skrelatos is from the National Guard in the United States, and Spencer Stone is from the US Air Force. Having done that, sorry. Was I trained for that? No, not at all. No, not at all.
Can I ask you, Gavin Lee from the BBC?
Yes.
You saw people running the other way.
Yes.
What was it? Do you think about what you did at that instinctive moment to decide that you're going to take on the gunman?
I think it was actually very rapid reasoning, if you like, because he had a Kalashnikov. He had a magazine full. I don't know how many magazines he had. And my thought was, okay, I'm probably going to die anyway. So let's go. I'd rather die being active, trying to get him down, than simply sit in the corner and be shot.
As it happened, were you in fear of your own life?
Initially, but then once you start moving, you're not afraid anymore.
At what point did you realize this is a possible terror attack?
The moment I stood up and I saw a guy with an AK-47.
Monsieur, est-ce que vous parlez français? Est-ce que vous parlez français, monsieur Abdel?
Oui, je parle français.
Est-ce que vous vous sentez comme un héros aujourd'hui? On parle beaucoup de
non, je me sens pas peur comme héros. S'il y a des héros, c'est Alexander Skrelatos et Spencer. Parce que sans Spencer, je pense qu'on sera tous morts.
Mais pourquoi vous dites ça? Vous trouvez c'est normal ce que vous avez fait? C'est ce que vous dites?
Je ne sais pas.
All right, again, you're watching Chris Norman. He is a witness to what happened on the train and actually stepped in with the three Americans, Anthony Sadler, Spencer Stone, and Alex Skrelatos. In fact, when he walked out, you could hear him say, if it weren't for Alex Skrelatos, I would not be standing here today. And he just answered a reporter. This was really interesting when the reporter said, what made you, when were running the other way, stand up and do this? And he said, my thought was, I'm probably going to die anyway. I'd rather die trying to take this person down than just sitting in a seat.
So let's go. Those are the words he said. And the first reaction, he said that, he thought that maybe he would sit in a seat and hide. But then he heard someone who we now know, according to Anthony Sadler, as Alex Skrelatos, yell, "Get him." And when he heard "get him," he ran in the direction of this man who is reportedly being investigated as having ties to Islamist extremists. This happening on a train headed to Paris. Again, we are waiting for Anthony Sadler and Alex Skrelatos to come out in front of this police station in Arras, and they can speak as well. Let's go back to Chris Norman.
Get hold of his weapon. I intervened to hold his right arm. There was a Frenchman who I think was the train controller who came and took his left arm. And in this way we managed to overpower him, and then after that we were able to put him on the ground, immobilize him on the ground, and then Alexander went to see elsewhere in the train if there were any other terrorists, and and we saw at that moment somebody was injured. Blood was coming out of his side of his neck. Then Spencer Stone, who was already badly wounded himself, he had nearly lost his thumb, and he was cut 2 or 3 times at the nape of the neck with the box cutter, and it was him that came and intervened and said that he was a medic, and it was he first, and it was him that was able to stop the blood flowing.
Absolutely nothing. I didn't hear anything. The train staff were not in the wagon with us. They ran up the aisle, but I really must salute the courage of the French train driver, who was actually sitting in the table in the row just next to me.
Have you thought, sorry, have you thought, now that you've had time to absorb it, have you thought of what might happen at United?
Now, yes. When we, I don't know. I mean, it's very difficult to really understand, I think. But when did it sink in? When I tried to close my eyes last night. Oui, tout à fait. Pardon?
What have your family said to you?
What my family said to me? They're proud of me.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Are you married?
I'm married. In fact, my wife is currently looking after our 2 grandchildren. I'd like to get back to her to be able to look after them and help her.
What's her name?
Her name is Martine Leonardi.
On that point, you spoke to your family.
Yes.
Given that you went the way that other people weren't going,
Yes.
what did they say to you about that? Your reasons for that?
I don't really know. I haven't really spoken very much to them. I've just been able to. I want to deal with that privately.
Proud of you, though, actually.
Yeah. Et je pense que c'est vrai, mais
I think it is true, but I did not see him because apparently he was in the coach number 13. I was in coach number 12. And from what I have heard, this is what I've heard after the event. There was a French person who accosted the gunman, the aggressor, and I think he tried to stop him. The aggressor had apparently the personnel on the train thought just they were fighting together, this Frenchman and the aggressor, and at this point the aggressor took out all his weapons and his arsenal, and that's when he went from coach number 13 to coach number 12. In my opinion, why are you saying he was determined? Because, to be honest, I do not know why he didn't manage to shoot, but I think it's because his weapon did not work. It backfired.
What else is there to do? Either you sit down and you die, or you get up and you die. It was really nothing more than that. I mean, we've seen enough of these kinds of attacks to understand that they will kill everybody once they get started. And my point of view was that 2 guys had already started working, had already started tackling him. Maybe they needed some help, and it was purely a survival. I said to myself, okay, maybe I have a chance if I get up and I help as well. He put up quite a bit of a fight, but Spencer Stone is a very strong guy. He actually held him very well, and Alexander and Anthony had a pretty good go at hitting him. No, in fact, what I did is I helped hold his arm so he couldn't get hold of his gun. Okay. He
was a man who appeared to be North African.
To see my friends on my first trip in Europe, and we stopped a terrorist. It's kind of crazy.
Crazy is one word for it. heroic seems to be a bit more fitting. American Anthony Sadler, sitting next to his friend and another witness, described what happened during their trip on a high-speed train in France on Friday.
I looked up, I saw a guy carrying an AK-47, or at least I assumed it was some kind of machine gun anyway. I ducked down in my seat. Alex got up. Alex actually looked at what was happening. Spencer looked at what was happening. And Alex said to Spencer, "Go get him."
French authorities say the suspect had fired several gunshots as a French passenger tried to tackle him. That's when the Americans sprung into action. The struggle was brief, bloody, and chaotic.
The guy actually came out. He pulled out a cutter and started cutting Spencer. He cut Spencer behind the neck. He nearly cut his thumb off.
American Spencer Stone, seen here in the middle, would eventually subdue the suspected Islamists with the help from his friend Sadler and Alex Carlatos. Stone, a member of the U.S. Air Force, was hospitalized and is recovering.
We called him. He's doing great.
He's in good spirits.
His friend Alex Carlatos, a National Guardsman, said few words speaking to reporters, but seemed to say it all.
Relief that nobody actually got killed.
Okay.
And it could have been a real carnage, and there's no question about that.
The three Americans hailed as international heroes, but they know it easily could have ended much differently.
I'm really proud of my friend that he just reacted so quickly and so bravely. He was really the first one over there. Even after being injured himself, he went to go help the other man who was bleeding also. Without his help, he would have died.
And most certainly, many others on that train would have too.
I think, honestly, since I was holding him, I didn't have any problems overcoming him. He was not necessarily very strong. I do not know if he had been trained. Let's just say the way that Spencer, the two Americans, had a go at him, he could not do much more.
I just want to go home.
All I want to do is go home now. In fact, frankly, what do I want to do is go home and spend some time with my family.
I didn't hear he was asking for his weapon back. I was just... what I did hear was Alexander telling him to stop fighting. And until we got him to quieten down, we got him on the floor, and then I tied him up while Alexander went to look for other terrorists.
What were you doing on the train?
No, I tied him up with a tie.
Est-ce que vous avez eu le président Hollande au téléphone?
No, mais apparemment il va nous contacter.
No, but apparently he's going to contact us. And no, I've not spoken to the French Prime Minister. I think that he will come out this evening. He was operated on his hand. Yes, we had him on the phone yesterday. It was mainly his friends. I was there. I don't know the three others. But obviously, since we met in this context, we are now kind of friends.
I was born in Uganda. I grew up in Swaziland, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. So south of France. I was at a business meeting in Holland. Actually, my job is to help African entrepreneurs look for financing in Europe and on the in the world finance. And so what I was doing in Holland is I was looking for export credits for one of my clients. Je me suis pas réveillé ce matin.
I did not wake up this morning because I did not wake up this morning because I haven't been to sleep yet. What it is that I think that it was good to save lives. I'm very happy, and on top of that, I'm very happy that the person who was wounded is going to is okay. He's going to. Well, I don't know how well he is, but he is not in a critical condition. For me, how could I say what I'm feeling? I'm beginning now to realize what we've done. But I'm very happy for everybody who was in the train and that we managed to overcome this person without loss of life. And excuse me, I think I'm going to go now.
I do have family in Britain. I spent 4 years in England in my life. Which part of Britain? London and Reading. I went to university in Reading.
Have you got kids?
I have 2 children. One is in the Navy. Not really. I feel like anybody else who, faced with the same things, I think might actually act in the same way. And I think, if you'll excuse me, I think I'd like to leave it at that. Okay, guys? Okay, thanks very much. No, I don't have it.